very hot in this room right now. It's I hope you like the background. I'm in the City 17 room again. That's what a couple people have called it. Oh man, the circumstances in which I find myself are frustrating, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why, and I sort of say that lightly. I don't mean it to that full extent. Frustrating. It's more like things are the way that they are, and that's how it's gonna be. And it's not to say that I am not grateful for where I am, because I really enjoy being here, and I enjoy my life a lot. Though that's the thing, I enjoy it too much. And so the topic of today's video is sort of being content and complacent in your actions, and having to go out of your way to achieve the things that you want to achieve, when 1,000 years ago these things would have just been a part of your daily life regardless. For example, I'm thinking of exercising, meditating. The reason that this came up in my head is from my journal entry yesterday. I had gone on a walk and I just wandered aimlessly through the London streets, very crowded, but there were a couple areas down thinner roads, cobblestone, that led to this interesting, quiet little area. It was like a campus of apartment buildings, this little apartment complex. And there I met a guy who I didn't know at the time but was homeless, and he sort of just passed his days by going on walks and existing, and he seemed content with his life. And he struck me as a person that was very present. He wasn't really concerned that much about the future. And London has sort of had that effect on me too. I've been a little more present. I've been, not listening to music very often when I'm eating. I'm really paying attention to my surroundings and what's going on around me. And much more than I had before I moved to London, because it's just a new, novel environment that I find myself in. Everything is cool and interesting to me now, and it's worthwhile to be present, because this is the first time I've seen it. But having that sort of presence led me to thinking about meditation, and how in my journal I have a checklist where I have a section that says, did I meditate today? And I check it off. It's supposed to be daily, but I haven't done it in like weeks, maybe months, which is a problem. And is it really a problem? That's the thing I was thinking about. I might not be sitting down and, closing my eyes and focusing on my breath, but what is the end? This is a means to what end? Well, that end, I think, is to be more present, to be more in the moment, and maybe to de-stress. Those are a couple main functions of meditating. And without doing it intentionally, I think that I've been experiencing those benefits of meditating without actually meditating, just being present in the moment. So, is it really meditating that I wanted when I started journaling? Is it meditating that should have been my goal if I wanted to be more present? And to some people, they would say yes, because it does achieve those things, but it achieves them directly. And existing doesn't necessarily have to be direct, and maybe it's beneficial to be more indirect about how we acquire these things, these end results. I was reading Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, again earlier today, and he was talking about happiness and the pursuit of happiness, and how people say they want to be happy and they go chasing happiness, or other things like that. And he said that it's impossible to achieve happiness by searching for it specifically, just as it's impossible to really laugh genuinely on command. it sort of you have to invoke it in somebody. It has to be a response that they don't really turn on manually. It's a reaction. And so we do things, and if the things give us a reason to be happy, then we become happy. And being more present, I think, is the same way. I think it's the same way with a lot of things. We try and intentionally like spearhead the things that we're thinking of, the outcomes that we want to achieve, but it's not. It's the same thing with money. It's I hear Charlie Morgan, who's a guy who runs an agency for agencies. It's kind of meta, but he says that you don't think about the money. You try and become the person that has the ability to make that money. So in your mindset, you become the rich man, and that mindset is what takes you. It's the vehicle to that money that happens as a result of you just becoming that person who has the ability. I say the word capacity a lot. I don't want to say capacity, but it would make sense in this context. So going back to meditating, maybe it's not advantageous to just go straight into meditating and breathing exercises and all these things. Maybe it's beneficial to take a step back, really, and think about the things that you could do that'll be beneficial, not directly, that won't lead to those things directly, but sort of get you there in the end anyway. Those things, I think, those paths that are indirect, I think they give you more character as a person. Now, an example of an indirect path would be exploring, going out into new environments and seeing the new things, having those novel experiences. That automatically puts you in a mode where you're like, oh, I should be paying attention to these things because they're new and they look cool. Like the architecture here is just stunning. A lot of the old buildings are, I've really grown to appreciate them. And yeah, like, I'm not getting that present feeling as a result of being in that moment, but it's not intentional. It just happens that I become more present as a person because I'm in these novel environments. So how do I apply that to other areas in my life? What am I doing wrong? What am I intentionally trying to go for that might get me results but not develop me as a person? Maybe, I don't know, maybe my creative endeavors? I know there's like a balance here. You need to be somewhat intentional with how you live, and it is important to spearhead some things, but like, I think, like I said, it's just important to take a step back and really see, how are you spending your willpower points? You can only make a certain number of decisions a day, and if you're making stupid decisions, or if you're intentionally doing all these things, you have a checklist: exercise, meditate, eat like 2,500 calories a day, all these things, they stack up, and you only have so many willpower points to get through a certain section of them, unless you're like just a crazy beast mode alpha male, alpha person, I should say. I'm inclusive here on this channel. Yeah, you only have so many of those points a day to spend. So how do we get to the end goal that we want? How do we achieve the means that we want, or the ends that we want, through the means that that don't cost all of those willpower points? Well, it's just it's the indirect ways. You have willpower for like meditating, eating right, then you run out of willpower for the other things. Maybe you don't need to meditate. Maybe you can save those willpower points and just go out, enjoy yourself, see new things. Those things don't take willpower necessarily. They just, well, maybe they do, but far less, because you're not going out intentionally for a specific reason or another. I think when you have those intentions that you're striving toward, that's when you're using your willpower points. But just existing, you know, smelling the roses, watching the sunset, that's not willpower. That's just being here. Um, there's a guy on YouTube who talks a lot about just going with it, just being. Uh, he uses the term retard maxing, which isn't very nice of a term, but I feel like it aptly describes what I'm really getting at here. It's it's just being present in the moment and going with whatever happens and playing it by ear. That's sort of the main philosophy that he talks about. You know, drink orange juice, do some bicep curls. It doesn't matter. Those things are unhealthy in themselves, but they are a means to an end. Even if you don't realize what those ends are, they could be healthy in themselves. Like the sugar from the orange juice, it gives you that energy that you need. Maybe it gives you more willpower and hypes you up to do the things that you actually want to do. And so, you know, it's a push and pull. It's an ebb and flow, like he would probably say. Elijah Long is his name. Did I say his name already? I don't know. Elijah Long. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today, really. Doing things not intentionally, but indirectly, without judgment, without really sticking your nose into the thing that you're trying to do, and just let it happen, let yourself exist. I think that those moments are going to give you the character development and the things that I was talking about before, like presence. It'll give you those things without having to put in the willpower. And I'm probably just talking in circles at this point, but like another example would be exercising. If you're going out 3-4 times a day or 4 times a week exercising intentionally to try and build muscle, that's good and all. Like, it's good if you can hold that with your willpower. And it's cool if you have a habit with it too. But if you just got a job doing construction, or you worked out in the country, if you had a house out there and a homestead, you'd be working with your hands all the time. You'd be building that muscle and living a healthy lifestyle, whether you wanted to or not. You wouldn't have to make the decision, so it doesn't really become a willpower thing. It becomes a thing that just exists and happens as a result of you being there. But I think we spend too much time, really. I think we do spend too much time worrying about the means that we're using to get to our ends. Sometimes you gotta, you know, take a break, take a breather. Don't use as much willpower and let things happen. Okay. Yeah. 13 minutes, 34 seconds, 35. Okay. Bye.